You have no time to be bitter. You have no time to let old pain shape a new season. You have no time to let betrayal steal your ability to trust wisely. You have no time to let disappointment turn your heart cold. You have no time to let resentment become your personality. You have too much purpose for bitterness, too much life for bitterness, too much peace waiting on the other side of release. What they did may have hurt you, but it does not have to hold you. What happened may have changed you, but it does not have to chain you.
Searching through my past, trying to free my soul. One truth at a time, letting every story unfold.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Who Am I podcast, where we pause, reflect, and refocus. But before we get into today's midweek motivation, let me check on you. Not the version of you that says, I'm fine. Not the version of you that laughs it off. Not the version of you that says, I don't care anymore. When deep down, you know it still bothers you. I want to check on the part of you that still remembers. The part of you that remembers what they said. The part of you that remember how they treated you. The part of you that remembers being betrayed, overlooked, used, lied on, abandoned, or misunderstood. Let me ask you something real. Have you been healing or have you been hardening? Have you been protecting your peace or have you been building walls around your pain? Have you been moving forward or have you just learned how to carry hurt without talking about it? Take a breath and ask yourself, am I holding on to bitterness because I want freedom or because I have not fully released what hurt me? So here is something to think about. Bitterness can feel like protection, but it slowly becomes a prison. It tells you don't trust again. It tells you don't open up again. It tells you don't let anybody get close again. It tells you stay guarded, stay cold, stay ready. But bitterness does not just block pain from getting in, it also blocks peace from getting out. It blocks joy, it blocks love, it blocks healing, it blocks the soft parts of you that still deserve to live. Today's episode is called No Time to Be Bitter, because what happened to you may explain your pain, but it does not have to define your future. You can be hurt and still heal. You can remember and still release. You can forgive and still have boundaries. You can move forward without letting bitterness become your identity. So welcome back to the Midweek Motivation on the Who Am I podcast, where we pause, reflect, reset, and become who we were created to be. And today we're talking about bitterness. But let me say this clearly. This is not a message telling you to pretend you were not hurt. This is not a message telling you to run back to people who harmed you. This is not a message telling you that forgiveness means giving unsafe people access to your life again. Absolutely not. This is a message about freedom, because some things did hurt, some people did disappoint you, some betrayals did change you, some words did cut you deep. Some wounds did not heal overnight, but you deserve more than living the rest of your life controlled by what someone else did. You deserve peace. You deserve healing. You deserve freedom. You deserve to be able to live a life that will bring you self-gratification, and you have no time to let bitterness steal the person you are becoming. See, bitterness is pain that stayed too long. Bitterness is pain that stayed too long. Bitterness does not usually start as bitterness. It starts as hurt. Then hurt becomes anger. Anger becomes resentment. Resentment becomes bitterness. And bitterness becomes a lens Suddenly, you do not just see the person who hurt you differently, you start seeing everybody differently. You expect betrayal before it happens. You question good intentions. You pause and you push people away before they can get close. You push people away before they can get close. You replay old pains and new situations. And before you know it, the person who hurt you is no longer in the room, but the pain they caused is still making decisions in your life. That is how bitterness works. It keeps the wound active, it keeps the past loud, it keeps your heart guarded in ways that feel safe but keeps you trapped. But today we are telling bitterness, you do not get to lead me anymore. You do not get to speak for me anymore. You do not get to turn my heart cold. You do not get to name my future. Forgiveness is not permission. And we have to bring in forgiveness on this part. See, forgiveness does not mean what they did was okay. Forgiveness does not mean you excuse the damage. Forgiveness does not mean you deny the betrayal. Forgiveness does not mean you have to trust them again. Forgiveness does not mean you have to reconnect. Forgiveness does not mean you refuse to keep letting that pain control your peace. Forgiveness says this: I am no longer carrying this like a chain around my soul. I am no longer rehearsing this pain every day. I am no longer letting what happened to me become who I am. I am choosing freedom over bitterness, and hear me clearly. You can forgive and still set boundaries. You can forgive and still walk away. You can forgive and still say, access has changed. You can forgive and still protect your peace. See, forgiveness is not weakness, my friend. Forgiveness is emotional maturity. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is emotional maturity. It says, I will not let your actions turn me into someone I do not recognize. See, emotional maturity is not pretending. Emotional maturity does not mean you pretend you are not hurt. It simply means you are honest about the hurt without letting it control how you live. It means you can say, yes, that hurt me, but I will not become hateful. It means that disappointed me, but I will not let it destroy my joy. It means that, yes, that changed me, but I will not let it make me cold. Yes, I remember, but I refuse to live trapped there. See, that is strength. Anybody can become bitter after pain, but it takes courage to heal. It takes courage to heal. It takes strength to remain kind without being naive. It takes wisdom to set boundaries without becoming cruel. It takes maturity to say, I learned the lesson, but I am not going to live in the wound. You do not have to become hard to be strong. You can be soft and wise. You can be loving and discerning. You can be healed and still be cautious. You can be free and still remember the lesson. See, pain does not get to rename you. And see, one of the most dangerous things pain tries to do is, and that's rename you. Pain will call you rejected. Pain will call you unwanted. Pain will call you foolish, damaged, broken. Pain will call you bitter and tell you that is just who you are now. But pain does not get to name you. It does not get to name you. What happened to you is part of your story, but it is not your identity. You are not the betrayal. You're not the rejection. You are not the abandonment. You are not the rumor. You are not the disappointment. You are not the wound. You are still becoming. You are still worthy. You are still capable of joy. You are still capable of peace, love, and capable of beginning again. So do not let one painful chapter convince you the whole book is ruined. You have to release those decisions to be bitter. You have to release it. And release is a daily decision. Sometimes bitterness does not leave in one moment. Sometimes release is a daily decision. You may have to release the replay, release the anger, release the rage, release the expectations that they will finally apologize. Release the need for them to understand how bad they hurt you. Release the version of the story where they admit they were wrong. Because sometimes freedom begins when you stop waiting for people to validate your pain before you start healing from it. You do not need their apology to begin your healing. You do not need their permission to find peace. You do not need their understanding to become free. And no, that does not make what happened right. It just means what happened no longer owns you. So take a deep breath. And say this with me. I have no time to be bitter. I acknowledge my pain, but I will not become my pain. I can forgive without losing wisdom. I can set boundaries without becoming cold. I release what has been poisoning my peace. I choose healing over resentment. I choose freedom over bitterness. And just take one more breath. Take one more breath. And just know that that breath is a reminder that you are still here. And because you are still here, bitterness does not get the final word. So allow me to encourage you really quick. Listen, you have no time to be bitter. You have no time to let old pain shape a new season. You have no time to let betrayal steal your ability to trust wisely. You have no time to let disappointment turn your heart cold. You have no time to let resentment become your personality. You have too much purpose for bitterness, too much life for bitterness, too much peace waiting on the other side of release. What they did may have hurt you, but it does not have to hold you. What happened may have changed you, but it does not have to chain you. You can forgive, you can heal, you can grow, you can move forward, you can become emotionally mature without becoming emotionally numb. This has been your midweek motivation. And remember, you do not have to become bitter to prove you were hurt. You can heal and still be wise. You can release and still remember. You can forgive and still have boundaries, because the best response to what tried to break you is not bitterness, it is freedom. So before we move forward, I want you to pause for just a moment. Take a breath. Wherever you are, whatever you're carrying, this next part is for you. Let's speak life over ourselves out loud if you can, because what we say in this moment has the very power to shift how we walk into the rest of our day. So let's begin with our affirmation. I am not defined by my past or limited by my mistakes. I am growing, learning, and becoming who I was created to be. I have values beyond titles, roles, and expectations. I choose honesty over fear and growth over comfort. I am allowed to change, heal, and evolve. I walk with purpose, clarity, and courage. I am becoming more aligned with my true self every day. And who I am is enough. So as we close today's episode, I want to thank you for taking this time for yourself. If something you heard inspired you, challenged you, or made you pause and reflect, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who may need it. Invite them into the conversation. See, this podcast grows when we grow together. I cannot do this without you. And see, we grow together through shared stories, honest reflections, and real connections. Every listen, every share, every conversation helps create a community rooted in purpose, rooted in love, rooted in hope, rooted in faith, rooted in trust and truth. So until next time, keep reflecting, keep becoming, and remember, you matter. This is the Who Am I podcast, and let's walk this journey together.
Who am I? Yeah, I'm more than the pain, more than the pride. Who am I? Who am I? Walking in purpose, no mask, no disguise. This is my voice, my rise, my life. Welcome to Who Am I?